Good morning and welcome. Thank you for taking time to attend today's webinar. I'm Mark Abus of XRM Cubed. We're very excited to have this opportunity to discuss all the benefits of integrating Dynamics CRM with Dynamics ERP. But we're especially excited about co-presenting for the very first time with our good friends from Tridea Partners. At XRM Cubed, we focus exclusively on helping clients get the most from Dynamics CRM, optimizing their sales as well as marketing automation processes. Tridea Partners delivers great value to their clients too, helping them unlock the value of their business applications like Dynamics GP, AX, as well as CRM. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes sharing the compelling reasons clients choose to integrate Microsoft Dynamics CRM and ERP solutions. But before we get started, a little housekeeping. First of all, we love your feedback and your questions. However, to minimize distractions, all the attendee microphones have been muted. You can, however, enter questions for our presenters using the GoToWebinar dashboard located on your screen. We'll get to your questions and comments during the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. If you're experiencing persistent audio or visual issues, please use the raise your hand button to let us know. There are additional resources as well available for you using the handouts feature in the GoToWebinar dashboard. You'll find an ebook as well as today's slides saved in PDF format. At the conclusion of today's presentation, there will be a short survey regarding follow-up items post-webinar. There are a lot of benefits to integrating CRM and ERP systems. You'll see 6 high-level benefits on this slide here, things like eliminating redundant data entry and providing real-time financial data to sales and service personnel. Before our presenters offer a deeper dive into the subject, we'd like to get an idea of where our attendees are now in respect to CRM ERP integration. I'm going to launch a poll here in just a moment, so if you don't mind, please take a few seconds to respond. You should see the poll opening up in your screen here. I'll give you about 30 to 45 seconds to answer, and then we'll display the results of the poll. Here's where I need that Jeopardy music. We're going to leave the poll open for just another 10 seconds. Okay, now let's share the results. All right, so about 20% of us are not integrated yet, but interested in getting some more information. That's fine. We'll follow up after the webinar. We've got some people that have some level of integration, but not as much as they'd like. Nobody's 100%, nobody's got it wired 100%, and some people not integrated, but that's just fine for the time being. Okay, great. So now what I'd like to do is introduce the first presenter, Ken Farmer, President and CEO of XRM Cubed.
Thanks, Mark. Your poll is still up. There we go. Hi, everybody. As Mark mentioned, my name is Ken Farmer, and we have been doing Dynamics CRM since the very beginning. We've worked with Beta 1, actually back 12, 13, 14 years ago, whatever it is now. And as we like to say, we have the we have the scars to prove it. So what I'm going to do today, I've been told I only have about 10 minutes. So I'm very passionate about the CRM side of things, what we call the front of house. Andy and from Tridea is going to speak to the back of the house side, the ERP side. Andy and I have known each other for a very, very long time. We've been friends forever and been in the channel, and it's just, it's funny, the two products, front of house, back of the house integration just makes so much sense, and the two of us have done those so many times now that we're just happy to share it with you and share with you what the benefits that it brings. So let's start on the CRM side. I'm going to really kind of focus on the benefits, the CRM side, and what it is that we chat about as we go through here. Let's start with CRM. CRM stands for, obviously, customer relationship management, but CRM as it exists today, most CRM platforms really do a lot more than just the standard customer relationship management functions. Dynamic CRM is such a very, very deep and broad platform that it allows for out-of-the-box functionality with sales and marketing, customer service, and now with the spring wave that's coming out here, actually just launched live this week. You've got field service capabilities in terms of routing trucks and managing that whole side of things. We've got call center, we've got project service, we've got just a lot of additional functionality now that's brought to the platform. So it's not just customer relationship management anymore. And everybody's different, right? So when we implement, we start talking with a prospect and a customer about CRM, we start with your processes. And those processes are really, truly what drive your organization. Now, they may just be processes that you've always done. So when a lot of times we ask the question, well, why do you do it that way? And the answer we get back is sort of, well, that's kind of the way we've always done it. So when we start working with you on those processes, we really try and dive into what's the best process for you. Now, obviously, the goal is to improve your level of efficiency with your CRM system, with the product that you put in place, with the processes that you bring to the table, with the data that you've got that you need to work with. Those are all key critical pieces to improving your efficiency within your organization. Obviously, integration brings a whole nother level of efficiency to that, and that's truly one of the things that we're going to focus on. Unfortunately, we've got a half an hour because we could talk about this for 3 or 4 hours, but it really gives us the ability to at least introduce you to the concept and talk about all the different things that we can do. So Mark, if you want to go to the next slide. I'm going to start with a couple of quick quotes here. Those quotes, I'm not going to read them to you. You can focus on them, but they're two important ones that I think mean a lot for business today. The first one on the left there is from the Harvard Business Review, and it's a great article. Talks about how efficiency within an organization changes and where those levels of efficiency happen. And a lot of times that level of efficiency happens at the department level, right? It's happening with, the sales team has created their processes and they have their own data set and they've got, stages they work people through, whether you're selling widgets or whether it's a company that's nurturing customers and distributors and manufacturers, and then you've got customer service that has their set of data and their set of processes, so that departmental level efficiency needs to go across all of the departments within the organization, because that's the true level of efficiency that you need as a business, that your customers need from you, and it gives you the ability to truly grow and scale what you're doing. So that last sentence there, too often the sum of the parts doesn't make for a high-performing whole. And I think that's crucial in the conversation around integration and why you need to integrate that front of the house versus back of the house. The second quote there is from Satya Nadella, and a lot of you probably don't know who Satya is, but he's our new, well, I guess it's close to 2 years now, CEO of Microsoft. Now, obviously he's not my CEO, we are a partner of Microsoft, but it's pretty crucial that we understand what they're doing and the directions that they're heading. And Satya has really brought in a whole new level of understanding to Microsoft around what today's business looks like. And he's really done some amazing things with the company. And as a partner who focuses purely on their platform and the CRM platform specifically, it's important for us that we truly believe that he's doing the right thing and he's headed in the right direction, and we are 100% on board. But that quote, businesses and users are going to use technology only if they can trust it. We see that in every implementation that we do. We go in and we start talking to customers about their systems, about their processes, about what a day in the life of a standard user looks like. And we start hearing things about, well, the system is supposed to do this, but it doesn't quite. So we have a workaround here, and we have a workaround there, and it really starts, you start getting a full picture of what the users are struggling with and what they have to do in their day in and day out work to just get through and to get their job done. And as soon as that starts happening, as soon as the workarounds start happening, the data doesn't get updated correctly. The processes aren't completed as you kind of want them to be completed. And all of a sudden, nobody trusts the data. Nobody trusts the system. It doesn't get things done. You have more workarounds. You have more disgruntled employees. Your level of efficiency goes down because people are spending so much time on these workarounds. So with everybody having their own different silos of data, and I know that's has been for a long time an industry term, and it kind of drives me crazy, but it really applies here. Silos of data will ultimately be the death of an organization. You've got the sales team with their own data, and then you've got customer service with their data, and everybody's using spreadsheets to manage the data and manage the process and checklists and all this other stuff. Pretty soon you're spending so much time trying to find the data and determine if the data is correct that you've totally lost any level of efficiency that you may have had across your departments and even inside the departments, because accounting, who really should be dealing with what we consider to be the master record, right? That's how you invoice, that's how you bill. That information really, truly, from an accounting standpoint, has to be the master record. Well, if sales has other information and customer service has other information, then it really starts being a challenge. So that's what integration starts bringing. So go ahead, Mark, to the next slide. What we try and do in an integration is talk you through all of the front of the house to the back of the house type processes. So you've got a sales team, you've got a marketing team, let's even start there. You've got a marketing team that's generating leads for you, or managing your website, or trying to run that nurture campaign against your folks. And then you've got sales trying to interact with that data and trying to interact with those customers and record, or prospects, of course, and customers, record that information. Then it goes, the quote and an order, and it has to, be printed, and that order has to be printed and hand walked over to somebody either in customer service or accounting, and then they have to enter the information again. Well, that's a huge challenge. But what's more of a challenge is the fact that when your users, your employees, your team is working with prospects and customers, they're not speaking with a single voice because their data is different. Everybody's looking at a different set of data, or it takes them too long to get to the data. So you got somebody on the phone, you start making stuff up, right? Oh yeah, that's your order's on its way, don't worry about it. And then they talk to somebody else the next day. Hey, no, that order hasn't been shipped yet. So you get a lot of he said, she said. Well, integration ties all of that together. Integration helps you create, along with your internal processes, of course, that single voice of the customer, or single voice for your customer. You want them, no matter who they call, to be able to get the information that they need. And in an integrated system, here's this account record, it's got the right address, hey, here's the orders in CRM that have been fed through the accounting system and brought back in, so you can see a status on the order. So no matter who picks up the phone, they can pick up that account record in CRM and see a good full view of what's going on and speak in a single voice for your customer. Integration, that single voice, also helps you accelerate your customer service. How many times have you either been stuck on the phone in this scenario, or you see that your people are doing it at the same time? Somebody calls, hey, I need to check on whether or not a payment's been made. I need to check on an order. I need to check on something. I don't have that information in front of me, but I'll tell you what, I'll go look for it. I'll give you a call back. Person gets up. They walk over to accounting, hey, can you look this up for me? Or they walk over to customer service or your warehouse, and there's a lot of inefficiency in how they communicate. So by integration, depending upon the level of integration, it circles that all back around for you. And it gives you the ability to have that information in front of you. And that's really the key. Lastly, it really provides a distinct process for all of your users internally. You see the full flow from interacting at the lead level, from interacting at the prospect level, from interacting at the customer level. You know, whether you do onboarding with your customers, you tie in what's going on with accounting in terms of their checking credit, and they're authorizing that as a true customer, setting a credit limit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of those become part of one system. All of those become part of one process that everybody works from. And that distinct process is what gives you the level of efficiency. On the right-hand side there is just a couple of different ways that we try and integrate, to kind of give you an example of, you know, from ERP to CRM and from CRM to ERP and how these things might flow. Okay. Diagram, I think, is AX, but the same process, of course, the same, everything else exists for GP and all of the other Dynamics products, as well as any other products that you may be integrating. Okay, Mark. Next slide. So that's really, from a front of the house standpoint, that's the integration in a nutshell. As Mark mentioned, we are XRM Cubed, and our focus is truly on dynamic CRM. Your process is getting your level of efficiency to a point that makes sense. That's what we do. We work with your specifications. We have a few rapid start type programs to get people up and running on CRM, but the bottom line is the most efficient you're going to be is when the processes are designed specifically for your team and for your business and the way that you truly need to be managing customers. We take it not only from a first implementation standpoint, but as a company we also believe very strongly in what we deliver to you after you go live. Because any CRM system, any ERP system for that matter, and I know Andy and his team believe strongly in this as well, any system like this, business critical system, the day you go live is often the best it's ever going to be, because then nobody focuses on it. Nobody checks to make sure that your processes remain relevant. Your data is being refreshed and relevant and actionable for your team. So that is more important to us really than the actual implementation, because we want you happy with a system 2 or 3 years down the road. So that's us. We're XRM Cubed. We work very closely with our friends at Tridea. We love working with these guys. They're very good at what they do, and they know ERP frontwards, backwards, and forwards. So with that, I want to turn it over to Andy. And Andy, there you go. I've had my 10 minutes. Well, I may have gone 11 minutes. Sorry.
We know you, Ken, but thanks. Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Ken. This is Andy Collins with Tridea Partners. As Ken had stated earlier, I've known Ken, gosh, probably going back 12, 13 years now. We both have been through the good and the bad with prior tools and technologies to integrate these CRM and ERP systems. And we're really excited about what's available out there today, and really have worked on a lot of clients together, and their team has really contributed a ton to the CRM side of the business, with our main focus being on the Dynamics ERP systems. As Mark had said earlier, most notably we support the Dynamics GP and AX ERP systems. So a lot has evolved there with what Microsoft provides in ERP. So it really has gone beyond just, core financials today. So today's Dynamics ERP, we're talking about true supply chain management and manufacturing and servicing of items and repair of items. So really extending well beyond what the early days were of, entry-level ERP or accounting systems. Furthermore, today what we can provide is through Dynamics ERP is either hosted or on-premise, whatever makes sense for each client. So today with the Microsoft Azure environment, we're able to quickly deploy these systems and then configure the integration with CRM on the hosted platform or on-premise, whatever is best suited for that customer. So Mark, you want to go ahead to the next? So just to kind of extend on that point of kind of beyond accounting systems and accounting services, today ERP within Dynamics ERP, and what I want to do is just give you a brief introduction into Dynamics ERP, and then I'll talk more about, what is the benefit from the back office side on integrating these systems, operations, accounting, finance, what do they have to gain with these integrated systems? So first off, we talk about increasing our people's productivity with these business applications. So core to Dynamics ERP is integration to Office, having people utilize applications that they're familiar with, lessening the learning curve, as well as giving them tools that they're used to using so they can make quick business decisions. Beyond that, improving processes. As Ken had stated, we're about not just performing transactions, but really automating an entire business process. So if we talk about something like a requisition all the way through to a purchase order to paying our vendor, we want that to be automated. So what Dynamics ERP will provide, things like workflow that allow you to, electronically versus paper-based, send a requisition, get it approved, create the purchase order, pay your vendor, all through an integrated process. And I think that's very important that Microsoft has put these tools in place to allow us to do that without creating inefficiencies of passing paper around. Also, the integration tools that are available. So Ken showed the diagram of one of those integration tools that allows us to interface the ERP and CRM, and really ERP and CRM with a lot of other applications that might be more operational in nature. But these tools now really giving us the flexibility to configure quickly, but also to validate the data so we're not getting bad data into these systems. So that's an important piece in where this technology has gone. The ability to access this information anywhere. So today, Dynamics ERP and CRM, we can run it on any device, on any browser, from anywhere. And I think that's important because today in a mobile world, we're always on the road and we need to have access to important information or be able to approve transactions that are coming from our core business, like maybe a sales quote or order, or again on the purchase side, or an AP invoice. Being able to access that no matter where we are on our smartphone device or iPad or Surface device, whatever it might be. And then lastly, the ability to scale with these systems. So not only scalability from the standpoint as we grow the volume of transactions, but also the functionality within the business application itself. So again, that concept of going beyond accounting, and now we're into HR. Maybe we're handling payroll in-house. Maybe we're doing material planning. We're getting more sophisticated with what we need as a business, and that's what Dynamics ERP can provide now, going beyond just core debits and credits. And then the last point on that is also the ability with these hosted environments to ramp up the power and storage, ramp it down, whatever's needed. That's all we're paying for. And so really the flexibility and be able to give you exactly what you need at that given time. So Mark, you want to go ahead to the next? So the next slide, we saw this graphic earlier and some of the reasons on why to integrate. And I just wanted to zero in further from an ERP perspective. So we talked about reduction of data entry. So now we're talking about automatic creation of records from ERP to CRM or CRM to ERP. And not only does that create a lot of efficiencies within your workforce, doing more with less, but also the integrity of the data. Instead of trying to hand key and making mistakes, you've now got a tested process and a tested integration. Ken touched upon this, but provide real-time customer data to sales and service, so a 360-degree view. So now instead of your accounting or operations team picking up the phone, answering phone calls from sales and customer service, hey, what did we do? What did that customer pay that invoice at? How much sales did we have with them last month before they go into a meeting? All of this is now available without tying up the phone, talking to accounting and operations. We've got it fully available from the CRM system so that they can go in there informed to do the best job at upselling or signing up a new customer. The speed of the quote and order processing, no longer are we hand keying, taking a paper-based order from CRM, or the salesperson that writes or emails you, it's creating that invoice automatically from the CRM system. So we're able to do more productive activities as a finance or operations group. The products and price lists, Ken talked about these master records, and you really want finance and operations to be in control of those. You don't want salespeople to go ahead and, hey, I want to add a new product. I'm going to create my own price list. I'm going to sell this at whatever price I want. That creates a mess. Not only an unprofitable business, but also in a bunch of SKUs that maybe don't make sense to the business. So now you're managing that from the ERP system, and it's being pushed over to CRM so they can only see the price list for that customer and those items and services that they can sell. Integrity of the data. No longer do you have to give salespeople access into the ERP, right? You don't want to give them access where they can go and post records or make changes to the ERP. You want to lock that down, and now sales and service only has access to CRM to do what they need to do, and not have them accessing the ERP. So it also cuts down on ERP users too. So from a cost perspective, that's a huge benefit. And then lastly, taking your system on the road. Again, salespeople trying to get access into the ERP when they're out traveling, visiting customers, that can be a nightmare. Well, no longer do they need that, because now they're on their smartphone device, their Microsoft tablet device, and they're able to see what they need to see out of the ERP system through the integration. Go ahead, Mark, the last slide here. So real quick, Tridia Partners, we started in 2004. We've got a team of ERP experts with put about 500 years of combined ERP experience. So many of us go back to the DOS years of ERP systems here at Tridia. So we've been doing this for a while. I threw up on here some of the accolades awards over the last couple of years. We're part of the top 100 VARs in the country. San Diego Business Journal's fastest growing companies. We support about 300 ERP clients today. So our team not only consists of what we call application consultants, so those are typically people with the accounting operations background, but a lot of technical consultants that do the integration and customization work. And we have deep industry knowledge. You'll see here on some of our client lists. We happen to have a number of breweries that we support on either Dynamics GP or AX, like a Stone or Ballast Point. Surprisingly, food and beverage has a lot of similar requirements to the life science community, where there's a lot of validation required, a lot of security required, just regulation in general. So we can provide that software as a purchase or as a rental model. I think that's very unique in the Dynamics ERP, or in the ERP world in general, where typically ERP systems are either hosted and rented or purchased. We have the option of going either with these Dynamics products. We provide either time and materials or flexible annual support plans. We'll get involved in the initial implementation, helping you with upgrades, even doing audits of existing systems, and really being flexible and cost-effective with our hosting services as well with Microsoft Azure. So I want to thank you guys for joining us here today. We're very thrilled to be presenting here with XRM Cubed, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to Mark for the Q&A section. Mark?
Thanks, guys. We do have some questions from the audience. Some of these got answered during the presentation, so here's one I don't think we got to. How often can we push data back and forth between the ERP and the CRM system? I'm going to give that one to Ken.
Thanks, Mark. We basically can set up a schedule, and as you saw, Andy mentioned one of the diagrams that I had was one of the tools that we use, that they use for integrations, and you have the ability to set those up either real-time or near real-time, basically being triggered by a new order or a change to an order or an address change or whatever the trigger may be that pushes that right away. Or you may have some situations where it doesn't make sense. You don't necessarily need that, but you need something on a daily basis. So the tool sets allow us to either, as I say, do it real-time, near-time, or put it on some sort of a schedule. So even different pieces of the data. You may want to do a complete customer load or a new customer load once a day. while you're trying to do real-time, near-time order processing. So really depends on the process and the use case that's presented.
Thank you. I'm going to give this one to Andy. How long does a typical integration project take?
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, that really ranges on what we're integrating. So going back to that tool that we highlighted early on, you know, it comes with, so Scribe, for instance, comes with a GP or AX adapter as well as a CRM adapter. So they've kind of assumed that, hey, there's certain information that we're passing, like, you know, price lists, item quantities, order history, you know, a quote becomes an order. Those type of things are already kind of in the system, so then it's a matter of configuring and installing the core system and then testing and tweaking. So it could be anywhere from 3 weeks up to, you know, if we're doing some kind of custom entities, if you will. So for example, if you're a professional services company and you want to be able to integrate time from the CRM side and create invoices over in the ERP, you know, some of that stuff not pre-built, and so we're doing some additional configuration and testing again and cut over with that. So that will typically take longer. So yeah, I would say anywhere from, you know, 2-3 weeks up to, you know, a 3-month project, but really depending on what data you're integrating.
Okay, here's another one. I love the idea that salespeople can't touch my financial information. However, I would like them to be able to update information in the ERP solution, things like contact information, emails, and phone numbers. Is it possible to allow salespeople access to some of that, some of those fields in the ERP solution?
Yeah, great question. So, you know, and that's one of the integration points that we always find is, you know, updating contact information, a new contact, a change to address. So that's one of the bidirectional points typically. So that can be done, for example, if accounting is talking to someone and need to make an update to a record, or a customer record, they can make that record and then it's shown in CRM as updated. Same thing, if a salesperson is out there meeting with somebody, there's a new contact, they add the contact, that would then synchronize to the ERP, so now they're able to see that new contact record. So that's actually one of the areas that typically we will see a bidirectional integration. I don't know, Ken, if you have further thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, obviously we go through the same process when we're sitting down and talking about the integration and discovery is, you know, which pieces that you need bidirectional and which pieces that you want to lock down. So a perfect example is when you get a new customer in CRM and you push them to GP, for instance. The accounting folks vet and verify all the different information. They run a credit check. You know, the customer ID in the ERP system gets created and pushed back into CRM, and then in some cases the CRM account record, in terms of the account name, the account addresses, that kind of thing, get locked. So salespeople cannot change it in CRM and trigger a change in GP. So part of that discussion is just really about what do you want your people to have access to and the ability to change. And what do you want finance to truly have the ultimate say in and lock it down from being changed.
Okay, thanks guys. So we've gone over just a few minutes, so we're going to conclude here. If you'd like to reach out to either XRM Cubed or Tridea, here's contact information for myself and Andy Collins. There will be a follow-up email that goes out tomorrow with a copy of this webinar recorded for your review or to share with a colleague. I'm going to launch a short survey at the conclusion of the webinar, so if you could just take a couple of moments to complete that, we'd really appreciate it. Thanks again for your time today, and we look forward to serving you in the future. Thank you so much.